Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to my stock technical analysis channel. We are going to run through a couple trade ideas. I'm going to try to keep this video quick and just get it out this morning. So NEO, we've got, let's go to the hourly. You can see here's where the trend line was at right there. And that was that we basically gapped down 10% the other day, and then they bought it up right up to resistance right around 48.28, 26. Perfect spot to re-enter a short trade, obviously, and that's why these trend lines are important. It's important to, a lot of these stocks will trade around support and resistance trend lines. So when you mark them out, when we see something reacting around that level, you can take a position, and I don't have to put out a video telling you that I'm taking a position. So that's what I did. Obviously, I covered, took a short right up here at resistance. And now, at this point, I'm not going to, they could chop it around, bounce it back up, things like that. But I think it's very highly probable, if I go to the daily chart, that we come down to this lower trend line right here. So I'm thinking $31, somewhere 32, depending on which day we get there. I think there's a very high likelihood we get there. And you can see here's the support line right there, and we had negative divergence on the daily chart all the way up through here, and I kept pointing it out in many videos that when we were trading up here, this looked like a good short, and the negative divergence continued to build, and now it's starting to play out to the downside. So I'm expecting us to fall down to support. There's not much support really. If we get below the lows from the other day, there's really no support until we hit that trend line. So I think that would be kind of the nail in the coffin if we start to break down, and we'll probably see 31, 32. So I'm looking to cover somewhere right around there. Like we're likely to get a reaction in that area. And from the high, really from the breakdown point, that will be a drop of about 30 to 40%. Well, it's about 40%. 35%, depending on when we actually get to the trend line, or if we get there at all. Now, something else to kind of keep in mind, Tesla. So Tesla is the king, I guess, when it comes to these electric speculative plays. And I don't know why people get upset when I say that Tesla's a speculative play. The PE ratio is like 1,000 something. Pretty sure that's a speculation, assuming that someone's speculating that they're going to grow into the market, their price, their earnings are going to grow into their price. It's a speculation. In general, everything's a speculation. So whatever. But let's. This one is the king, and it has not sold off yet. So some of these other solar stocks, I'm starting to see some weakness, but Tesla is the one that just doesn't want to go down yet. But here's the thing. On the daily chart, we've got some negative divergence that continues to build. You can see basically pretty clearly intact right there. Negative divergence there. And we are starting to break trend, and it's not going up, but it's not going down anymore. And you can see we had this daily trend line right here that just broke. It broke relatively impulsively. Let's go to the hourly. You can see, well, sorry, I take that back. It wasn't an impulsive breakdown. It was, we've broken it, but we've just kind of drifted sideways. I expect that we're going to start to sell off, and that's what I'm looking for in Tesla. So we did have hourly divergence as well right there. You can see the momentum was really falling off a cliff. It's now extended, but this high right here was a divergent high, and it was sold into. So at this point, I do think Tesla's probably going to start to sell off down towards, well, I think it's going to make its way back down into this range down here, and we'll just kind of evaluate it once it gets down there. So I've got a short position on Tesla. I just took it the other day when we broke this trend here. So right now I'm just waiting for something to happen. It's not doing much, and we're just kind of waiting. Moving on. So BBY is now coming into some majors, coming into some support here around 104 area. I'd expect the buyers to probably step in a little bit early, so watch for that. Or if it wants to undercut and go below 104, then the buyers might step in right there. So kind of watch for that. But again, 104, right around that area, we should get some sort of a reaction. If you don't get a reaction and it just slices right through it and just continues to sell off, then I would expect we're going to gap fill down at 91 bucks. So things to watch around this level, and how does it behave around this level? Do we get the reaction, or do we not? And if we don't, look for gap fill. I'm not really looking for a lot of long trades, but Intel continues to look bullish. I saw it kind of playing out. So I want to just point it out. Here's the thing about Intel. The thing you got to realize, let's go to the weekly chart. This is a weekly chart of Intel going back to the 2008 lows, or 2009. So here's the bull market in Intel, basically since 2009. And we recently broke. You can see we broke down right here, and it looked bearish. Everything looked like it was about to start, but they've recovered that now, and pretty impulsively. You can see that's in a pretty impulsive recovery in Intel. So that is a bear trap. Unless we get some selling throughout the day today to bring this thing down, looks like a bear trap. So again, that would be bullish in general, and that would mean that maybe we're going to, that Intel is going to continue higher. So something to watch for on Intel. And then on the daily, we don't have any divergences. There's no negative divergences really. And in fact, there was a bullish divergence. So you can see it right here. There it is. Bullish divergence. This was a divergent low. Bear, as of right now, looks like a bear trap. So that's pretty bullish. Redfin here. I'm watching this one for a rejection. And so you can see here on the daily, here is your support line right there. We broke support on the daily there, made a back test, and then came in for another back test. They overshot this trend line just yesterday. You can see they recovered it, but it's since really struggling. It's not impulsive. It's not an impulsive breakout, telling me that it's likely to fail here. And this recovery of the support line was just a rejection. So keep an eye on that. This is a possible objective area to short the thing. I'm just waiting for a little bit further proof of a clean rejection of this trend line. Go to the hourly, you can see, we're just right there. So just need to see that impulsive breakdown. And DraftKings, same thing, looking for a breakdown. Here's your upward price. Here's your upward channel right here, price channel. And it's at the point where, if this is a bear flag, it really should fail somewhere right here. You can see, here's your flagpole. This could be your flag, and maybe we project something like that. But again, you need to see that breakdown, and we need to see that impulsive breakout of this channel. That would be your sell signal, so I'm watching for that one. The reason why I like DraftKings to go down, let me kind of explain my reasoning here. We have negative momentum. So you can see here that on the daily chart, even though we've been moving higher here, the momentum has continued to move lower. We had negative divergence right in this area where this is where the momentum started to move lower while price was still moving higher. But then price caught up and started to move lower. We've had a kickback rally where momentum has moved up, but we're still making lower highs in the momentum, indicating that there's still a downtrend in the momentum. So that's why I'm looking for a breakdown and for price to continue to break down as well. PayPal here, we're continuing to just diverge. We're in this area here where we're making slightly new higher highs, marginally new higher highs, nothing impulsive, just kind of grinding higher, and yet the negative bearish divergence just continues to build. So big negative bearish divergence typically will play out for a larger trend. So what we're looking for is that breakdown or sell signal kind of move to set this thing in motion. I think if we start to the downside, we're going to gap fill down here at 129.27, or at least come in the area, come close to it. They might step in a little early, but again, I think that's in the cards if we see that sell signal and we start to see the price starting to fall. Okay, keep an eye on this. Watch for the dollar to start to turn up. I'm not saying it's going to, but if it does, you'd likely see the stock, an impulsive sell-off in stocks. The reason why there's the potential for it to turn up is you have potential for bullish divergence. If the dollar turns up here, we will have a big bullish divergence. This will be a divergent low, signaling that a trend reversal or trend change is likely to the upside in the dollar, which likely will put pressure on stocks, and you'll see that sell signal that I think is coming very soon. I'm looking to play it with triple Qs, shorting triple Qs. I'm just waiting for the sell signal. It's not there yet. And we'll wrap up with TLT here. TLT also has the potential to kind of continue this bullish divergence that it's had. You can see here, this is long-term treasury bonds. Nothing exciting, but again, just I'm pointing out what I see in the charts where there might be opportunity. And you can see on the daily chart, if we make a new low, just slightly newer low, I don't think we've made it yet. We made an equal low, so it is a divergent low, but any new lower prices, and we're going to have bullish divergence. So you can see here the momentum has been moving up, and yet the price here is making kind of a new lower low. So I'd be interested in potentially going long TLT down here if I can get it down here at this trend line around 152.90 or so. That's what I'm looking for. So there's a potential trade, but I don't know if it'll play out. We'll have to just continue to see if we get lower prices. And if it goes too much lower, we're going to burn through this bullish divergence. Okay, that's really all I see for this video. Leave me a thumbs up if you found value, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.